She called it love. 30 years of answering every call, absorbing every crisis, dropping everything when her mother needed her. 30 years of being the good daughter. And then one afternoon, sitting in her car in a parking lot, she realized she couldn't remember the last time she'd had a thought that wasn't about someone else's problem. She'd been so busy carrying everyone that she'd set herself down somewhere along the way and never picked herself back up. That's the thing about losing yourself. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in 1,000 tiny moments of saying yes when you mean no, 1,000 small betrayals of your own needs that barely register at the time, until one day you look in the mirror and you're not sure who's looking back. Maybe you know this feeling. The phone buzzes, you see the name, and before you've even read the message, your whole body tightens. Your shoulders creep toward your ears. Something in your chest constricts. Nothing bad has happened, not really. But somehow, certain relationships cost you more than they should. You leave family dinners feeling hollow. You hang up from certain conversations feeling like you've been rearranged from the inside. You say yes again to something you don't want and spend the next 3 days resenting it. And here's the part that makes it so confusing. You're doing everything right. You're showing up, you're being generous, you're being loving, you're doing what good people do. So, why do you feel like you're disappearing? I'll tell you why. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that love means erasure, that being a good daughter, a good mother, a good friend, a good spouse means having no edges, no limits, no self that might inconvenience someone else. You learn to absorb, to accommodate, to carry things that were never yours to carry, and you called it kindness. But there's a word for connection without a self. It's not love, it's enmeshment, and it will drain you until there's nothing left to give. So what do? You hit a wall. You get so depleted that something in you finally rebels, and you do the only thing that seems to help. You pull back. You stop answering. You build walls, real ones, because it feels like the only way to breathe. Safe, finally. Except now you're lonely, now you're guilty, now you've traded drowning for a desert, wall or tangle, isolation or enmeshment. Those feel like the only two options. They're not. There's a third way. Not walls that block everything, not open floodgates that let everything in. Something more intelligent, more alive. Think of a cell membrane, permeable, selective, responsive. It knows what to let in and what to keep out. It defines what's inside without cutting itself off from what's outside. That's what a healthy boundary actually is, not hardness, not withdrawal, clarity, a self that knows where it ends and others begin, a heart that can stay open precisely because it knows how to protect itself. This is learnable, this is practicable, and it doesn't require you to become cold or selfish or unavailable. It requires you to become whole. I've built a workshop that teaches exactly this. It braids together two streams of wisdom, Torah and modern psychology, because you need both. The spiritual tradition tells you why this matters, why yourself is worth protecting, why boundaries are an act of love and not a withdrawal from it. The psychology gives you the how, the actual tools, what to do when guilt floods in, what to say when you need to say no, how to stay connected to people you love without being consumed by them. Nearly 2 hours of teaching, a complete workbook with guided practices you can return to again and again. $18, but I'm not going to ask you to buy something before I give you something real. So here's a tool you can use today, right now. It's called Locating Your Number. Boundaries don't start as words, they start as sensations. Your body knows you need a limit long before your mind catches up. The problem is, you've been trained to override those signals, to push through, to ignore the knot in your stomach and say yes anyway. So here's the practice. Next time you're in one of those moments, someone's asking something of you, you're about to commit to something, you're in a conversation that feels off, pause, one breath, and instead of focusing on what they need, turn your attention inward. What's happening in your body right now? Scan slowly. Is there tightness? Where? Your gut? Your chest? Your jaw? Is your breath shallow? Are your shoulders climbing toward your ears? Find the sensation. Name it. There's a knot in my stomach. My chest feels tight. I'm holding my breath. That sensation is data. That's your body's first draft of a boundary. Before you have words, before you have reasons, before you figured out what to say, your body already knows. Most of us have spent years ignoring this information, overriding it, telling ourselves we're being dramatic. This practice is about learning to trust it again, to catch the no before it becomes resentment, to notice the signal before you've already said yes to something that will cost you. One practice, done consistently, it changes everything, and the workshop goes deeper, much deeper. But it starts here, with the body, with attention, with the radical act of taking your own experience seriously. If you're tired of the wall and the tangle, if you want to love without disappearing, if you're ready to stop abandoning yourself in the name of being good, I'd love to teach you another way. 2 hours, full workbook, $18. You are worth protecting. Your heart is sacred ground, and the boundaries you learn to build won't keep love out. They're what make real love possible.